be mental. Woo! That wind is something else. What is going on YouTube? Welcome to Westys Angling. You're joining me today for another winter method feeder session, and today, if you haven't guessed already, I'm at High Hayes. As you can tell, the weather is absolutely atrocious. I'm here on my own today. My dad is not stupid enough to come fishing in these conditions, but unfortunately I am that stupid. So we're going to be doing some method feeder fishing. Like I said, I've got myself pretty much set up. I've been here since just before first light and got everything set up, got the cameras in place and whatnot. I'm fishing fairly light today. I've literally only brought what I need, which when you film it is actually quite a lot, but I'm traveling light for me. I've got my small Nash scope rod bag which fits my Corum Opportunist rods in absolutely perfectly. Like I said, I'm going to be fishing method feeders, and the method feeders that I'm actually going to be using today are my own. So these are my own brand method feeders, available on the website. I'm really sorry if you can't hear me because of the wind, but we're going to have to deal with that today. So they're my Westys Angling method feeders. Like I said, available on the website www.westysangling.co.uk. So we're going to be seeing how they perform today. I'm literally just going to be casting the feeders out, and then we'll just leave them and wait till we get a bite. Simple as that. You have to leave the method feeders in a lot longer at this time of year. We're well into December now and things are getting tough, especially after the lakes have been frozen over the last couple of weeks. So like I said, everything's pretty much set up. What bait am I going to be using? Well, I'm going to be using Aquastim F1 Supreme Sweet Fish Meal ground bait in black and some of my own brand pellets. Today I'm going with the Caramel Cream Dream. They're 2mm pellets and I've just mixed them 50-50 with the ground bait. That's packed with sweet attractants, they're packed with sweet attractants. Everything that I'm using today is available on the website if you wanted to grab yourself some. If we have a bad session, you probably won't want to, but I promise you the good baits. And if we don't get blown away at some point today, geez. Look at that, folks. It's like a tidal river. There's some chop on today, that's for sure. Just waiting until we get a little bit more light and then I'll cast the rods out. Even though it's absolutely atrocious windy conditions today, folks, these are actually perfect for High Hayes. The bream especially like it when there's a bit of a chop on the water. So I'm probably going to have a rod here over to the aerator, and I'll have my right hand rod towards the middle, but this is going to be churning up the bottom, it's going to be churning up the silt, it's going to be bringing the food particles down this side of the lake, and also the warmer water. I feel like it pushes the warmer water down this side as well. That's my theory anyway. Right folks, let's load up this first method feeder and get it out, shall we? I've got a couple of jobs on this afternoon, so it's not going to be a mega long session, this one. Just a short winter session, and hopefully we manage to get a couple of fish before we have to pack up. Probably going to be fishing through till maybe about, I don't know, 12 o'clock-ish, 1 o'clock-ish, something like that. So they're a good all year round size method feeder, these. Probably on the medium size rather than small. And they mould and press perfectly. Look at that. Perfect little method feeders them. I'm impressed with them so far. I've only just started using them as well, but I've not encountered any problems as of yet. So let's put this first one, check my drag, it's all right. Let's put this first one down here over to the aerator. It'll be about mid-lake. So these want to come up a bit now. Conditions like this, I want my rod tip pretty much under the water. I think that's about as low as we're going to get them there, folks. I think we're definitely going to have to drop the tips under the water purely because of the wind. Let's put them up here. There we go. That's better. That's better. Little changes like this, folks, can make a massive difference. Now these aren't bait runners, so we're going to have to remember to tighten our drag if we get a fish. As you might have guessed already, one of the main reasons for me coming out in these miserable conditions is I just couldn't wait to try my underwater cam. And this is a little bit of footage. As you can see, there's Ide swimming past the method feeder there. The method feeder is almost completely buried in the silt, which is amazing to see. I've always known High Hayes was silty, but this is another level. Now, it's very hard to get good footage in our murky northern commercials. As you can see, we've only got probably about 4 or 5 inch of visibility here at High Hayes. Now, High Hayes is about 5 or 6 foot deep. Now, the deeper the lake, the less light is going to be getting down to the lake bed, and it's going to definitely restrict the visibility in the underwater footage. That, added to the silt, added to the murkiness of the water, it makes it almost impossible to see what's going on in front of the camera. But we're picking up some things a little bit closer, as you can see. So at High Hayes, this is probably about as bad as the underwater footage is going to get. So it's really interesting to see. I don't know whether it's as interesting for you guys as it is for me, but I like to know exactly what kind of bottom I'm fishing on, so I can fish it accordingly. So here at High Hayes, we're probably better with a high-sided method feeder and a lighter method feeder as well, and maybe a longer hook length, so that your hook length will sit just on top of the silt. Maybe like a bomb and small little PVA bag if it was allowed at High Hayes, but I don't think they are anymore. But that would be the ideal tactics on this lake bottom. Obviously I'm fishing on the Westies Wafters today. Wouldn't go anywhere without those these days, because if anything will pick us up a bite today, it's those. My hook lengths are lighter than I'd normally use, so I'm going for 7-pound Guru N-gauge hook lengths, which is about as light as I go, to be quite honest with you. Never really go any lighter than that. I just don't see the point. 7-pound Guru N-gauge is a very, very thin, fine line. And what they do is they take all the stretch out of it, which makes it obviously a lot thinner and more supple, which is why like 7-pound Guru N-gauge would be potentially a lot slimmer than 7-pound Daiwa Sensor mainline, as an example. I find that it does make it a little bit more brittle when they do that, but it does make it a lot harder for the fish to detect the hook length. Ooh, jeez. I think it's probably going to be better today if I have you on bank stick cam rather than on chest cam, because you can see what's going on then a bit better. I just hope you can hear me and the wind's not too bad. Probably leave this first cast out 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that, and then recast. And then after that I'll probably only cast out every 40 minutes or so, or until we get a fish. Obviously when you're fishing at this time of year, please make sure that you're warm and comfortable as well. Like this is, I'm wearing my Fox bib and brace, which is incredibly warm. It's a winter suit, so it's really padded, obviously waterproof as well, or at least majorly water resistant. If it's stormy weather or really chucking it down, then the rain does seep into it. And it's fairly cheap as well. I think this was about 70-80 quid for a full winter suit, so I think you'd pay that for a hoodie these days, wouldn't you? Well, some people would anyway, I don't think I would. Look at this, folks. There's literally nobody else on all 3 lakes on the entire complex. Just me here today. Trying to catch some winter fish. Just look at that. It's like a torrent. Come on, need to get a couple of fish for you, and then we can call it a success. Oh my god, folks, I think I might have to call it a day. This wind's getting ridiculous. Nearly took my shelter out of the ground then. Well, I'm sorry this hasn't been a very eventful weekly video, folks. And it's going to be a tough one to post. I imagine that I'm going to get some backlash, but it is what it is. If you don't want to watch the videos, you don't need to watch the videos. They are going to be tough to watch, these winter ones. Can't bag up on every session, unfortunately. We just need one of these chunky, hungry F1s to come and save the day, don't we? Well, folks, if you don't know already, I've launched my own brand of 2mm pellets. They're perfect for the method feeder, they're perfect for solid PVA bags, and they're also perfect for loose feed. Well, what are the flavours? There's 3 flavours. You've got Super Sherbet Lemon. Now, the Super Sherbet Lemon is a really tangy, sweet lemon flavour. You've got the Caramel Cream Dream, which is like an F1 sweet type flavour, but it's got a more sort of subtle caramel note to it. Like I'm talking about fine wines, isn't it? And then we've got the halibut base mix. Now, the halibut base mix is called Chalky Orange Halibut, and it's a really strong chocolate orange flavour. I'm sorry you're getting buffeted by the pencil light shelter, but they're the 3 flavours, and they're all available on the website. Obviously, there's not a massive stock of them, but it's first come first serve. So if you want to get some of them, obviously I know that a lot of you move away from pellets at this time of year and you go more towards the ground bait and stuff like that, but there's ground bait on the website as well. I usually do keep some pellets in my mix. I'll usually use about a 50-50 mix of ground bait and pellets through the winter, just in case there is any fish in the swim, and that way it holds those fish in the swim rather than just having ground bait on its own. You can see from this footage that the fishery is absolutely jam-packed with hide. All this kind of size, some a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller, but they're all dipping in and out of the camera, picking little bits of ground bait and pellets up off the bottom that have probably fallen off the method feeder on the way down to the bottom. But as you can see from the footage, the camera has started to sink into the silt on the bottom, but it is so murky. The visibility is very, very low at this particular fishery. And you can actually see the more that they feed around the feeder, the more that it actually stirs up that silt. Bits of particles flying up everywhere, and they're just picking bits and pieces up around it. So this part's really interesting. A carp actually comes in and picks up the hook bait, the pink wafter, and actually ejects it, but this actually causes bleeps on the bite alarm. So I've lifted into the fish, and obviously by this time it's already ejected the rig. But yeah, really interested to see that. And that was on an 8-inch hook length. So if that was a method feeder hook length, it probably would have been nailed. Nope. I think I'm gonna have to call it a day. Can't do it, folks, can't do it. Well, folks, thanks for watching this very unentertaining video, and I'll see you in the next Westys Angling, and hopefully this wind dies down a bit.